All right, hey, we'll get this going here again. I couldn't be more excited. I think many of the media people that are here, if you think back, the challenges we had when it came to this, I guess what you call pothole season, it was unique. This was our biggest fear, was every time this time of year came around when we'd have a snowfall and then there'd be a thaw. Obviously, there was a lot of concerns and complaints about roads throughout the entire state of Michigan, more so, I guess, in the southeastern portion of the state because of the problems we're seeing with funding for roads and projects. And we know we're still not getting ahead of it, although we're spending a lot of money on roads and bridges. It's still a challenge. But this road itself was the biggest challenge. It was highlighted by the media every time. I kid you not, our Department of Roads folks, we were on the phone relentlessly trying to figure out how do we even bring in subcontractors to fill potholes on Mound Road so that we didn't have to hear about all the complaints. We tried to get to them as soon as we could. I even came up with this idea of, call 911 if you see a dangerous pothole. There was some unique criticism that came along with that. However, the reality was we wanted to get ahead of it because we didn't want people put in harm's way because of how bad this particular road was. It was the most challenged road in southeast Michigan. And now you drive down it today, and it's almost like you forgot about that. And I'm kind of glad. I would like to forget about it. But the reality was we had no funding for Mound Road. There was zero funding for Mound Road, and we knew the project couldn't just be a certain section or portion. If we were going to fix it, we had to fix it in its entirety. And so we came together, the various industries and businesses in and around this area, this cluster. You're talking about multi-billion-dollar annually asset, this cluster of assets we have here in Macomb County has to our economy locally. And so we thought, let's pitch this. Let's get together and talk. The mayors of both Sterling Heights and Warren, Mayor Taylor is here with us, then Mayor Fouts, and now Mayor Stone. We all came together to figure out how do we work on this. The various councils from both City of Warren and Sterling Heights came together to figure out what do we need to do. All of our state representatives, all our federal legislators came together and we said we need to pitch this thing. We even went to Washington, D.C. to go have conversation with the Department of Transportation at the federal level. And we realized there was an infra grant. So we put in for that infra grant. We were competing across the country for that funding, and it was a very high ticket price. In fact, it was $99 million is what we were looking to get, and we did, by the way. I'll fast forward the story. When we found out we got that infra grant, we were stunned. We didn't believe it. And the reason for that is this was a local road project that is unheard of. It's very unique for a local road project to get that kind of funding, and this is probably the largest road funding project of a local project that the Department of Roads, our Department of Roads, has ever handled. And so with that, we were celebrating the fact we got the money. Now the question is, how do we match that? Well, obviously local funding from Sterling Heights, local funding from the City of Warren. We went after our state representatives, and they fortunately came forward with some money. So this was a project from local, county, state, and federal funding to fix this road. I say it all the time. There isn't a road or bridge we can't fix. When people say fix the darn roads or fix the damn roads, there isn't a damn road or a damn bridge we can't fix if we have the funding, and this is proof of that. We found the funding, $220 million to fix this road from 696 to M59, and it got done. And I got to tell you, it got done on budget, on time. As I called him now, this is Santa Santo. He promised this would be done before Christmas, and he has delivered. And so with that being said, we are here today to celebrate the fact that we have opened this road from start to finish. There are some other things that we got to work on. There's some of the, I guess, aesthetics, talking about some of the landscaping and some other things that are going into it. But the road itself was important because we wanted this road to be safe. We don't want to see potholes. I don't want to hear about potholes, especially on Mound Road. But also the technology that's embedded. Probably the most technologically advanced roadway in the entire country is right here in Macomb County, the cities of Sterling Heights and the City of Warren, because of what we invested in here. So we're very fortunate to be here today. I'm fortunate to have many of those folks that were here to help support this. And again, I sometimes think we leave out the residents and the small businesses who are impacted by this. And I got to tell you, the work done by Department of Roads, they didn't do it alone. We had our partners from HNTB, and I want to thank them for their support in helping manage this project. And I say that because they were the ones helping us manage any concerns, criticisms, complaints that may have come our way. And there were very few, by the way. We knew there was going to be disruption for business, disruption for people traveling around here, but it was limited based upon those I guess, recommendations we got from people that were upset about a few things that might have happened along the way. But we tried to keep things going the best we can, and the business support that we had to make this happen, well, I got to tell you, they're going to benefit from this tenfold. Just walk into this market here after you're done, you're not going to believe the number of people that are standing in line waiting to purchase the products that they have here. So we're fortunate to have had that support. And again, Dan's Excavating, the contractor, the folks that did the work out here, amazing work that they did. They completed the project, they found the workers, they had the right talent, and we have a roadway here that is going to last a lifetime. At least I know my lifetime. And so we're very fortunate to have gotten this work done. I know we have Amy O'Leary hiding over here from SEMCOG. We can't thank her enough for pushing for some of the road funding as well. She's hiding off in a corner, and she needs to be up here, and that's what I'm doing right now, is dragging her up here. I'm not going to continue until she gets up here. I'm going to continue to talk until she gets up here. And most of these are freezing your butts off, and so I'm going to try to figure out how do you keep this brief, but it's hard to keep this brief because this is an exciting day for Macomb County, in particular, our Department of Roads and the work they did. And so with that, I'd like to turn this over to Santa Santo for delivering before Christmas. Take that hit on. Thank you for the work you did, along with your team in the Department of Roads. Brian, all yours, my man. Jump on in there.
Well, thanks, Executive Hackle. And I just want to start with by saying, wow, what a project. What a great thing that we have here as far as the road opening before Christmas. It takes a true team effort, collaboration, coordination between a lot of different entities and leaders. And we should be very proud of this project, not only as a region, as a state, as a county, as a community, even as a resident. We did a lot of stakeholder engagement meetings in advance of this project and during the project to try and meet all the goals and needs of everybody, inclusive of industry, of our needs, of the public's industry needs. So we are very happy to be here. This is a new roadway. It's smoother, it's safer, it's more efficient, and people should know that traveling this road is going to be advanced into the future as far as the durability and the lifespan of this product that we have produced here. A lot of thanks to my staff, a lot of thanks to Dan's Excavating and their crews out here working on this, to HNTB, our owner's rep that oversaw this project as a whole. Many thanks to everybody, a lot of different people involved. So we are looking forward to advancing this to the south segment. We're currently working on preliminary engineering for that next segment between 8 Mile and 696. So we're hoping to get some results on some grant funding opportunities to move that project forward just as we have this one. It's a much needed area. It is deteriorating just as this one had, and it's very important to our economic corridor within the state and within the county. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. And again, I'm glad you brought that up because there's always a lot of concerns. People are saying, okay, what about our road? What about our bridge? And again, that goes across, the entire county. And as much money as we put into it, we know we're still behind. But there is always that question as to what are we doing south of 696? The grant funding that we had for this project was very specific, and it was from 696 to 59. It wasn't, the money wasn't there to figure out how do you solve the problem south of this. And again, as Brian had mentioned, we are putting that forward. We're working with the U.S. Department of Transportation. We're working with our partners at the federal level who helped with this significantly. Gary Peters and Debbie Stabenow, I can't thank them enough for helping push for that original funding, and they're there right now making sure we're pushing forward on this funding. And I already mentioned our state representatives and the governor. We can't thank them enough for the support they give us for funding on this, and obviously we're going after more funding for south of 696 because that cluster of assets is just as significant as what we're seeing here first. So those that are wondering, especially those from the city of Warren, I know we got plenty of the council people here, we are pushing forward. Help push forward with us, because if we have the funding, we can fix the road. There isn't a roadway we can't fix if we have the funding. So Brian, I'm glad you brought that up, and again, to you and your team, fantastic job here on this particular project, the largest project in the history of Macomb County's Department of Roads, and you guys did a flawless job of making this happen. And with that being said, I'd like to bring in one of the partners we had to make this a reality that really helped push for the funding and come up with some of the ideas based upon the residents within his town, the mayor of the city of Sterling Heights, Mike Taylor. Mike?
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate it, and thank you all for being here. I want to recognize my colleague on the City Council, Barb Zarko, who's here today. I want to thank members of the Warren City Council for being here today. Mark has given a lot of thanks to all the people that need it, but a couple people that I want to highlight. Our city manager, Mark Vanderpool, I think was really an instrumental part of putting together the Innovate Mound project and Innovate Mound team, working with the county executive in his office and the county commissioners to create this public-private partnership that really showed to Washington just how important this road is. We talked about $7-8 billion of economic activity that happens up and down Mound Road, making this one of the most important commercial and industrial corridors in the state of Michigan and really the Midwest and beyond. With all the automotive assets and defense assets that we have here, we were starting to hear from business owners that they could not put up with it anymore. Things had gotten so bad that, I mean, our police almost were at the point of having to shut down Mound Road because it was not even traversable. If you remember, we were standing over there on the corner, what was it, 4, 5, 6 years ago? It's one of my favorite pictures, actually, because I am angry. You can see on my face, I am angry. Well, I'm smiling today. We're all smiling today. The culmination of all that work, all that partnership, it's just a tremendous, tremendous day. And it's an example of what cities can do when we work with your county leadership, with the state, with the federal government. Put some energy and effort behind a project. And honestly, this is what public service is all about. This could not have happened without a lot of people coming together. The last person I want to highlight is the late Congressman Paul Mitchell. I've said this before. Paul Mitchell is somebody that I could call and text and get on the phone quickly. He knew the problems with Mound Road. He took them directly to the Secretary of Transportation at the time. He told me a story that when President Trump had flown in for one of his famous rallies in Macomb County, Paul met him at Selfridge and drove with President Trump in the limo from Selfridge to Washington Township. And he said, the president asked, is this, when he was driving down Howell Road, which has been fixed too, by the way, he said, is this road worse than Mound Road? And Paul Mitchell said, no, Mound Road is much worse. And so that ability to get into the president's ear, to talk with the Secretary of Transportation, to express how important Mound Road is to the people of Macomb County and Sterling Heights and Warren, I think, we were just lucky to have all of those people coming together, pulling in one direction. And so the results are phenomenal. It is a road that's going to stand the test of time. I can't wait for everybody to see what it's going to look like in the springtime or summer when we're able to do that aesthetic work. But just, on behalf of the residents of Sterling Heights, I want to thank Mayor Jim Fouts, who obviously isn't here anymore with him having been term limited out. But Mayor Fouts, the city of Warren, the city of Sterling Heights, Macomb County, this was a partnership with our business community that I think is a model for us to continue to use and for other cities to use in the future. And just really, really gratified by it. And thank all of you for being here. And thank you, Mark, for everything you've done. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks. And Mike, you make a great point. I mean, it's interesting because during this entire process, from start to finish, there was no politicizing of the issue. It was coming together. If we had difference of opinion, we had those difference of opinion. We argued about what we needed to see, what we wanted to see, how we were going to get to where we needed to get to. So there was no political debate over this issue publicly whatsoever. There was no criticisms. It's because we realized there is limited funding. We need to come together to try to figure out how do we solve this problem, but also recognize there are challenges elsewhere throughout the entire county. And you alluded to it. I mean, what we were able to see happen with the State Department of Transportation, what MDOT did with Hall Road is a significant impact on Macomb County. What they did years back to Van Dyke, again, that was another state project. Really, that truly enhances the cluster of assets we see from 696 up throughout Sterling Heights to M59. And now, obviously, what we just did with Mound Road. Well, I'm going to tell you, the value of the properties on both sides of this roadway now have just incredibly increased. And again, you're going to see more development, more assets contributed to this area as a result of what we did with these roadways. So again, Mike, I thank you, your entire council for being on board with us and working through this with us, as well as obviously you mentioned Mayor Fouts and the city of Warren. So we thank them. Our Board of Commissioners, we want to thank them because throughout this process, there's a lot of approval on funding that we needed to make sure every time we had a challenge or an issue, we had to make sure they understood that they had to part with some dollars that were, awarded to us and some of the money that we had even from the county. And I want to thank them for that. And I know Don Brown and as well as the other members of the Board of Commissioners are here as well. So thank you very much for your efforts too. So with that, let's just say we don't do ribbon cuttings on the road anymore. We're just kind of move. I call them barrel removals. So we'll just kind of do a grab a barrel and move it out of the way. I don't do it because people get angry. They're like, okay, will you open the damn road already? Instead of having a bunch of politicians out there. People are traveling.
In the parking lot.
Let it happen. So,
I think.
Yeah, they're waiting trying to get through here. So, all right. So with that being said, if there's individual comments, questions you have on any one of us, please do so. Rather than belabor it right now, we're available for any questions you may have, those that are from the media. So with that, let's grab a couple of barrels. Mike, grab one, grab over there. Somebody grab on that side. Don't be shy. Let's just kind of pull the barrels out of the way. This is our significant moment. Ready? Ready?
Brian can do it.
There we go.
Here we go.
All right. Mound Road is officially open.
You gotta do it. Somebody gotta
Good job.
Somebody
Good
gotta
job.
do it.
All right.
On behalf of Santa Santo, Merry Christmas to all. Merry Christmas to all. Thank you very much. You're going to be the photo now. So, the minute I hit that hand put on, everybody.